Good morning, afternoon, or whatever it is, wherever you are in your corner of the world. This is Pamela Aaralyn, and today I have a bit of a sensitive topic. For those of you who know me well, you know that I don't tend to shy away from sensitive topics, so if this particular topic makes me unpopular for the day, week, month, or year, I'm going to go ahead and send my apologies in advance, and I will address this absolutely as calmly and in a balanced way as possible, because it is a very triggering topic, especially for me personally. Okay, so I had a question come in from not just from one, in this particular day I got a question from one member of my spiritual community, but I've had many questions coming in from clients and followers and friends and so many people about the feminist movement in connection with spirituality, and the feminist movement also in connection with the divine feminine versus the divine masculine, because unfortunately that's exactly what it has become. It has become a them versus us and us versus them. And I want to publicly come out and let you know straight away that my standpoint on this is that there is no us versus anyone or them versus us. I am not a feminist. Surprise. Despite all the goddess energy, despite all the divine feminine that I do embody and carry and represent, I am not a feminist. I am an everyoneist. I believe in equality. And I believe that when we make it an us versus them scenario, especially when it comes from projections of shadows and core beliefs that represent trauma, that can become very detrimental to the divine masculine in our relationships. And it doesn't matter whether you are in a heterosexual relationship or a homosexual relationship. It doesn't matter your sexual preference or orientation. None of that matters, because each of us carry divine masculine and divine feminine, some of us to a larger extent than others. But when you come from and project in a way that embodies disempowered divine feminine, and disempowered divine feminine is generally where things go when, especially in the spiritual communities today, I'm noticing a lot of this repression that's repressed so strongly, and we're not facing our shadows and core beliefs and traumas related to sexual abuse in particular. And when you've had that kind of trauma and then you either don't address it or haven't addressed it enough, it becomes a situation where the divine feminine is not empowered. It is divine feminine in such a disempowered manner that when you address males, or even when you address females that seem to trigger you, your disempowered divine feminine aspects, your traumatized, hurt, wounded inner child aspects will come out and fling like a slingshot at the divine masculine. And this is what is saddening me about today's spiritual communities. Okay? This is what's hurting my heart to see and to notice, especially within the divine masculine members of my own spiritual community. I'm seeing them take a back seat. I'm seeing and sensing them feeling disempowered because of projections from disempowered divine feminine, because of projections, finger pointing, blame, and slingshotting from wounded, traumatized divine feminine. And this is happening in all forms of relationships. Online, offline, heterosexual, homosexual, whenever there is a them versus us, and I've been hurt, so I'm going to take my disempowered divine feminine and slingshot in the direction of the divine masculine. I call this the red penis crusade, or the red penis cape. There's so many different little Americanized words and phrases for that, and they are very offensive phrases, but it offends me to see this happening to our divine masculine. It hurts. What the divine feminine is doing to the divine masculine whenever they come from that disempowered place is not feminism. That is not what feminism is supposed to be. So that is why I cannot say that I am a feminist, because that comes from a place where you are making it them versus us and us versus them and male versus female and divine masculine versus divine feminine. And there is no versus. You don't have to stand up for yourself if you are operating from a balanced, empowered, equal perspective. Okay? There's no need for feminism. We've already empowered ourselves. And if you keep thinking that the feminist movement is there to empower you, that means that you believe that you are disempowered. Now, there's a difference between going towards a feminist movement and saying, I'm honoring the divine goddess within me. That is the goddess movement. Now, that is the beauty. That true goddess beauty, the goddess within you, that's not a movement. That is who you are, and it doesn't take a movement to honor the goddess in you. Okay? So the true divine feminine comes from the goddess in you who honors the divine masculine. And if they feel like they are feeling disempowered in their divine feminine, what they do is they heal it. They don't speak until they can say something peaceful. They don't come at men feeling traumatized and automatically repressed. They don't wear the red penis cape. The goddess energy, the true divine feminine, not the feminist movement, but the true divine feminine honors the divine masculine. And they don't automatically assume that the divine masculine is bad. Okay? That is the difference. So there are these two extremes, facing the feminist movement, and these extremes are at both ends of the scale, and it's gone a bit too far. And if I'm one of the few women who have the courage to stand up and tell you that it's gone a bit too far, and you want to get upset with me, I can take it. Bring it on in your comments below. Peacefully and respectfully, please. Because I am done with the idea that feminism is needed to begin with, because it promotes an us versus them. If you show someone within the divine masculine, whether you're male or female, if you honor the divine feminine, you go to your partner with the divine feminine, and you open your heart to him or her, whatever the status, whoever holds the divine masculine, if you go with your empowered but vulnerable and safe and loving, not repressed and traumatized and fearful, but when you approach someone you love who has a divine masculine, you go to them and you don't come at them. You go to them and say, I love you. Here's my concern. Let me show you my divine goddess within me. Let me come to you with my tears and open up my soul to you. And if I need to cry, I'm going to cry. A true divine masculine being will literally be on their knees, not because they're lesser, but because the true divine masculine wants to serve the divine feminine. So, coming at the divine masculine in a way where you feel is that you have to control or anything that you're like, oh, I'm feminist, look at the arm. Like with that picture floating around the internet that's been going around since the 1960s with the woman with the headband and the arm like this. Yeah, look at me, I'm strong. Is it real strength? Is that really divine feminine? That's where I told you I was going to get triggered, and it's happening right now. It's me being completely authentic with you. Is that really divine feminine? When you have to act so disempowered, and you're thinking it's power, but it's not. When you're coming at the divine masculine with the arm, and you're like, look at me, hear me roar. That was 1950s and 1960s. We are not in that era anymore. Why do we need to keep holding to this thing where we need to defend ourselves? That comes from a space of disempowerment, repression, normally sexual repression, which is based upon trauma. That's not going to win you the man or the woman, whatever the case is you're looking for to win the divine masculine. You don't have to win. There's no competition in that. If you show your divine feminine and your vulnerability, you've already there. You're equal at that point. And the divine masculine will fall at your feet with love and respect. And therein you will hold your empowerment. please treat the divine masculine with the same respect that you are giving towards this divine feminist movement. So, with that being said, I love you. I apologize in advance if anything I've said has been remotely triggering or hurtful. So if that's the case, please forgive me for hurting you, but I honor my stance on this. I am not a feminist. Namaste.